Okay, so it's 3, 2, 1 on the 29th. I fucking like the countdown things, but whenever I get them, I'm always like, oh, is that about to go? But then it just drags and drags and drags. Like, oh, that's the kind of stuff that gets me like disappointed or whatever. Is that how stuff just drags and drags, and I'll be like, oh, something's about to go, something's about to go, but then it's just drags. Which yeah, there's so many things that I have talked about and talked about. And then one of them was that I was trying to remember yesterday that the chat GPT said that I had said a long, long time ago was your brain is not storage, your brain is a receiver. And that's you think you are thinking things, but you're receiving information. And that's why you need to tap into it and pay attention to it. That's where you start working on your communication and stuff. But but there was another one too. This wasn't from Chat GPT. This was I think it was a person, and it was talking about I don't know. It could have been a science thing. I don't remember. But this is also something I talked about years and years ago. Was your when you're trying to understand the way your brain works or your thoughts or whatever, your thoughts are kind of like on a loop. It's when you're kind of spinning out on something. You keep thinking about something, and you keep replaying it, replaying it, replaying it. That's you. That's not. That's where you want to get off of that. And but it was talking more about it and something about emotions. But see, that creates emotional thing. But it was I can't remember it now. It was talking something about like how um it does something to help you. I can't remember good enough to repeat it. But anyways, I just hear things I talk about all the time. And one of them about our health and aging, and I've been talking about that for a few years. Time's so weird. I couldn't even fucking guess. All I know is it was when I started doing the copper water, and then my hair started changing, and that's when I realized that they were lying about aging. It's like, if you were truly aging, how could you reverse it? Like, think about it. So when you reverse the things that are creating this aging concept, then, man, it's like a fucking microwave, I swear to God. And it's creepy as fuck outside. Like, you might hear some of the stuff. I don't even know. It's like dogs barking a long ways away, but it's like this creepy echo kind of thing. Yesterday when we were up at the lake, um, this was trippy. I was expecting to be cooked up there. I was like, oh, it's gonna fucking be cooking hot. And I was like, are you even gonna be able to make it for 15 minutes in there floating? And, but it was really nice. But then there started being more and more people, and we'd already been there for a while. So, but I was like, fuck, I could do this all the time. That, that's the way we need to live, man. I'm telling you, just fucking float around, float through life, just enjoy life, man. We're not meant to be like this. Like there was a woman when we disrupted her. Me and my mom got there first, and she's sitting on the dock reading, and we come up. And my mom, sometimes I think she's got a little deafness, and so she's talking super loud to me, and I'm always trying to like, oh yeah, I talk quieter, but she was talking loud, and this lady was reading. And so I was thinking, oh, we disrupted her, but a boat of people, I don't know if she knew him or whatever, goes by, and they say something to her. And she's like, oh, yeah, retirement is just the best. It's the best thing, best thing that ever happened to me, retirement. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what well, it took me years to start saying that because I had to go through the rejection of them being kicked out of the rat race for a while. But that was part of my healing and part of my coming into myself. But yeah, once you get to experience freedom, it's like there's nothing better. Like you want everybody to get to feel it, but everybody is caught up. Well, I gotta get a car, I gotta get a house, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, and it's like, but that's the problem, is you think that you need to get all that stuff. It's like you don't really. It doesn't do you any good. They'll take it away from you. Right now, there's a big fucking storm that's about to hit into the Midwest. And we got, I guess, apparently 44 volcanoes going. We got earthquakes just shebanging all over the place. It's going crazy. But the um, but this windstorm, it's a new kind of windstorm. They've always got new ones coming in. But this is a hurricane on land. It's going to sweep through like Ohio, Wisconsin, Nebraska. It's going to sweep through a few around over there. I don't remember all the different states. It's just going to come out of the blue. It's going to be super high winds, the kind of winds that will just take your house out, and water and everything. And it's called a Derecho storm or something, Dereco or something like that. And so the girl I saw talking about was saying, look it up. People need to know about this because they're saying that this is going to sweep through. We got the heat wave going. We got so much stuff. And the heat wave, I feel like when they're doing this heat wave across the whole country, power is going to be going out. And then this storm, they said, expect power to go out. But anyways, they got one fucking thing after another. Another weird thing about this heat wave is it started on the east and it's moving west, which is very unusual. Usually everything starts in the west and moves to the east. But I guess when the poles shift and the current goes the other direction, now we got east to west. And so pretty soon they're going to be telling us the sun rises in the west and it sets in the east. It's like, okay. Yeah, you guys just don't remember. That's the way it's always been. Oh, okay. So people will just be like, yeah, you guys are wrong. That's the way it's always been. What are you talking about? They would never lie to us. No, they wouldn't. They'll just fucking mind control you. So anyways, this health thing. So I saw a guy doing a video and he was like, oh, so you're telling me that it's minerals and vitamins are the problem. So that's what we need. It's not all this food that we need. It's we need these minerals and these vitamins. And then he has this list of what, which the different things affect different things. I didn't read the whole thing. I took a copy of it, but it was like a lot of little writing because it was like all these arrows pointing on the body of what your minerals need. But copper caught my eye on, so it affects more because it also affects your liver. But I've been saying this for years now, and I know I'm not the only one, but it's just like sometimes it takes so long before people start saying stuff. But now people are starting to catch on. It's like, oh, we need these minerals, we need these vitamins and stuff. That's what we need. And they take them out of the food to make fake food so we don't have them. They do whatever, these moms here, or whatever, the people that start messing with all those seeds and stuff. And which there's no fucking bees. And I mean, I do get how they kill the bees without killing the flies, but it's like, motherfuckers, I swear to God, kill the motherfucking flies. But no, the flies are like low vibration. They're like the shit eaters, you know? They're like the fucking... So, like, keep the bugs alive that are the low vibration, drive you crazy, have no fucking purpose, but passing disease, I swear to God. So, we'll keep the mosquitoes, the flies, the gnats, and all that shit. But let's kill off the bees and the wasps. Which wasps are pretty wicked, but I'm sure they have a better purpose. But I guess they have to kill those in order to kill the bees. I don't know, because you'd think that they would keep the wasps alive and take them into the lab and make them super, super waspy. So... but anyways, the messing with all of the food and everything is to strip us of our minerals and vitamins, and then the certain stuff that they put into things, it kills the good bacteria in you, just like they kill the bees, but leave the bad, so the good bacteria in you, so you don't absorb nutrition. And then everybody's got stomach issues, and those lead to depression and other issues. And so lots of people have lots of issues. And then they have and then dump on all sorts of sickness and disease and stuff. And then you have no abilities to fight things. So you just get sicker and sicker. I mean, they got young people now getting C. diff. Like, it's crazy. Like, C. diff is... the kinds of things that they used to B that would kill old people. Pneumonia, C. diff, they would get this overrun because the well, now I know it's because of the it was like that they were doing it kind of slowly, like making us sick slowly, but then all of a sudden everything sped up. And so now we have people who are aging faster because it's not really aging, it's really a depletion of nutrition and then being overrun by sickness. And so, man, it's so fucking intense, man. I'm getting so worn out, getting woke up all the motherfucking time. And especially because I'm so deep in these weird other worlds. And then, and I'm just fucking tired, man. Every fucking hour she wakes me up. It's just like, God damn, what the fuck? And I know she's uncomfortable because it's so motherfucking uncomfortable. Like, the energy is so motherfucking intense. And all these dogs, all three of them are having issues. Even fucking Archie was up in the middle of the night choking and gagging and coughing and sneezing. And then he runs outside barking, and I don't even know what the fuck. That was like at 12:30. I'm like, oh my fucking shit. I'm like, God, I'm so tired. And I'm gonna, this morning though, I'm gonna, because I gotta go to the eye shot situation this afternoon. So I'm gonna, this morning take a nap after, in a little while or something, try and sleep again. I'm just fucking exhausted. I feel like I'm just dragging. Last night, I was having the hardest time staying awake. And it was like 6 o'clock. I look at the thing and it was, at first when I was like, oh God, it's gotta be close to bedtime. But I was up the whole time from 2:30. And then I look at the thing and it's 5:30. I'm like, oh fuck. So I was like, okay, I can make it. I can make it a little longer. And then it was like by 6 or 6:30, I was like, oh hell no, I can't make it any longer. Like 6:30, I think I went and laid down, or maybe almost 7. I don't know, quarter to 7 or something. But fuck, which, oh yeah, I wanted to see some of these fucking movies I'd seen. Hold on. That one of them, I mean, two of them I'd seen, because I've been watching these Mary Higgins Clarks. I swear, once your algorithm, you watch something, then it spits it a bunch more to you. So I've got all these Mary Higgins Clark's mysteries that pop up. So I've been watching those, and I don't know if she worked in medical or something. It seems like she has some kind of something about medical. She must know something about it. But so in the one yesterday I was watching, it was a doctor, and he was taking the things that the women fight for the right to have it removed. He was remove those so he could test on them and stuff. And that is, it was even in this movie, he took one out of somebody else and put it in somebody else. So these mad scientists, and it keeps being that kind of stuff. And the degree that they'll go to in order to keep doing this, because there's kickbacks and shit, man. The medical profession is so corrupted, so corrupted. As soon as you bring money in, and then you don't give them all the information, because there's doctors now who are waking up, who are coming out and saying, you know, nutrition is important, and they don't give us any of that information. They're just given a script and a protocol, and then they are giving kickbacks. And so, and there's so many. It's all a direction, and the direction is to keep us sick and to keep us in this aging thing. And aging is really just keeping you sick, and then depleting you of the minerals. So then they give you this white hair, your skin starts going wrinkly, and then your joints are aching. You get stiff, you stop doing so much stuff, so then your muscles start atrophying. You just get sicker and sicker, and the more depleted, then it starts pulling minerals from your bone, your organs start failing, everything, and then they call it aging. No, it's fucking lack of nutrition. And that's one thing too, is they sell people on these unhealthy lifestyles. We'll just have a good time, man. You've only got a short time here. Enjoy it. And ever since I was a kid, man, it just, struck me when I was a kid. It's like, fuck, man, you don't know how long you're going to live. You could live a long time. And that would suck if you don't take care of yourself and you're unhealthy. Like, fuck, that would suck. So I always was more of somebody who was healthy, even though there was a period of time when I was a kid who I was very self-destructive. I didn't care what happened to me. I didn't care if I, you know, died or whatever, because I don't. I know dying's not real. High frequency just came through. So I knew that that was not something to fear. And, but anyways, so I never was fearful of dying. But I was scared of like how it would happen. And then when you have all these past lives you go to, which I want to also make another point. And there was another one I forgot to mention, was the one of the girl who was carried the water on her hip. And she came to me in the mirror one day, but it was so weird because the energy that she brought. And then I was like, oh my God, I do totally lean on that hip. That is the attitude that comes out every time. Well, you know, I'm a good person. I don't know. It's weird because you have these different aspects of yourself. But the one thing I wanted to point out, in all those lives, none of them was, there was only one where I was a lighter skin color, besides this one I'm in right now. I mean, I don't know all the different ones, but I was all dark in all of them. So you know, I think that that is mostly what we are. And even though I looked more lighter skinned and I had longer straight hair, was I could have still been Irish or Spanish or whatever. It doesn't mean necessarily, oh, it's just a white person, because this white person thing is something they created, which now they've got a person, I guess, apparently. I don't know if they're 14 already or whatever, but they grew them from the just STEM cell. They didn't have a womb, they didn't have nothing. They just took some cells and they grew a person. And apparently that person is out there living this life, and you can't tell. And now, I think this is another one of these Japan things. But see, these mad scientists have been doing this stuff for a long time. This is the disclosure of what they've been doing. They've been doing this shit for a long time. And it's mad scientist world. There's a tendency to be very unethical, but they say it's in the name of saving man. And that's where they come up with their function of the, you know, if you want to gain. And they have, because there's another one coming into my head. Just a second. The the unethical. Oh yeah. Okay, so they tested on those ladies. I think I already talked about that. All the pregnant ladies, and they told them, come in and get your vitamin shot, and they were really putting radiation into them to see how it crossed into the placenta. And then they all, you know, everybody got cancer and people were dying and all this shit. And that was like right around when they were also doing the famotidine or whatever it was, that other vitamin that they told the ladies to take. And then their babies were being born with no limbs and stuff. But there was another thing too of, there was, oh yeah. Okay, there was a bunch of kids that were taken, orphans, because as long as you don't have anybody standing up for you, you're fair game. And they took them to a place in by New Jersey or New York or something, and then they started testing something on them, and they were killing them all. But it's always to see like how, you know, how they can make it better. But then they so they're always saying like they're doing this for, you know, to help with you know, they're doing it so they can figure out how to make us sick, I swear to God. Or that's where it ends up going. But there was another one too. God, there's a whole bunch. I mean, the other movie, it was a group of doctors who'd started their own little hospital, and some of them were getting killed, and it was over this. So a woman came in, somebody did malpractice or, you know, whatever. And so they tried to hide it and cover it up. And she was in a coma, and they were keeping her in a coma and, you know, not telling anybody. This is This is the kind of stuff that they do, though. It's a big boys club that they cover each other. And then they, oh, well, that just happened. No, it was from negligence and malpractice, and that's what they are constantly doing. And I just saw a video of a guy in Canada, and he was just really outraged over a kid that just had gone past from, who was 16, and he had stayed home with a migraine, and then he got worse and worse and worse. So the parents took him up to the hospital, and this is what your free insurance or your free medical gets you. And this guy was saying they just charge us more and more and more in taxes, but this is what we get. And so he went out with the parent. He got triaged at like 10, and the parents were saying, he's getting worse and worse and worse. He didn't ever get seen until 6 in the morning. Then they transferred him to a children's hospital, and he died and had a heart attack and stuff. I don't even know what was wrong with him. Something. And then, so he died. And then the guy who was telling this video, because he said, like, this is one of my neighbors. He said, I think the kid even goes to school with my kid. I don't know. It was confirmation. And then so he was very upset. They keep having to pay all this stuff. Their insurance, their free insurance is sucky. And because so many people die waiting for treatment. And he said that what was it? The kid, the family waiting, taxes. Hold on. Oh yeah, he said that. So this is a region where there's like 3 different townships or whatever they're called there, 3 different communities. He said they were all like around 200,000 in each of these 3 that go to this hospital. And he had to be shipped to Toronto or something. And this is like outside of Toronto or near Toronto or something. And then, but he said, how many doctors do you think were working at this hospital? One doctor. So, yeah, you get your free medical, but it's, they're way more into getting control over your health. What you want to do is figure out a healthy lifestyle, and people don't even understand what that is. They don't get it. They don't get, like, your lifestyle matters. They don't get that aging isn't real, that they made it up to cover, and then the ceremony. Man, this fucking July thing, the ceremony fuck. It was easy when I was by myself. It's just like, oh well. But man, when you're around, oh my God, it's a celebration. No, it's like, no, God, get me. So, I mean, it's so, people are just trained into this process of depleting yourself. And the one guy who I'd seen that talking about this whole occult practice by, you blow in the candle, you're making your way, all these different parts of this occultish ceremony that they have everybody doing every year is like setting a spell on yourself. But it's the same thing what I said. It is the programming of what you believe. So you start putting yourself into, like, and it starts when you're young, like, when I was young, I was like, thought somebody who's 60, fuck, that's so fucking old, man. And then I think you start moving up in the time, and you're like, fuck, it's not old at all. And then, but if you believe it is, it depends on how you run your program. So if you believe it is, then you start becoming that. So you start becoming, well, I gotta cut my hair. That's what little old ladies do. And I mean, it can be a pain in the ass, like, fuck, man. And it, fuck, the way it falls out and stuff. Now, I'm always starting a new thing. Now it's beef liver pills. That gives you your iron. So that's the thing where how this keeps popping up in my thing. These beef liver pills, and then you get all this iron from them. Doesn't taste anything and all this stuff. I don't know. Liver grosses me the fuck out. And this whole thing with having to use another animal and everything, I don't know, man. So, anyways, I'm gonna try those motherfucking things, even though I feel like, God, I don't want to fucking kill a cow over. But then also, collagen. That's another one that keeps popping up in my thing. If your hair's falling out, collagen, you have this lutein or something. I don't even know, because what is that? Is it lutein, the eye one, which you gotta do. It's so much with mind, body, spirit. Because yeah, you got to take your vitamins and stuff, but you also have to be in your understanding of things. Of I just saw this video. This guy was talking about that everybody is born. Like I was saying, my neck was just jacked up. Like even when I went, because I would have to go to the chiropractor and stuff, and all of these different things that I had to do back when I was in the system, and I had migraines and I have scoliosis and muscle spasms and all that stuff. I don't have, I mean, I'm still working on my scoliosis and finding my balance and pulling myself into, um, you know, into balance. But but he was saying every single person, their top one is out of alignment, and that creates you to not be as connected somehow to the spiritual thing. Mine was all jacked up, which when I saw the thing where I was getting hung, well, I didn't see the thing I was getting hung. I saw myself going to the thing on the horse, and I could feel the whole thing. I was like, I could see myself, and I knew, I knew where I was going. I knew what happened. I knew somebody was behind me. It was like all these things that I just understood by seeing this clip of me going. And then it made sense of why my neck is so out of alignment. Like, it's like, "Wah." And then you come in to work on these certain things. So your body will represent what it is you need to work on. And that's what that one on the eye one, I just thought that was really, I don't know. It's like it's something to know, but then uh, to hear this video saying that these doctors have found that it's not your eyes having a problem; it's something inside your brain, and you need to. Um, they weren't saying like you need to look at things that you're not willing to look at to heal your eyes. I can't remember the whole thing they were saying, but it was making me see like, oh, so it's spiritually you are unwilling to look at something, and then look at how people's eyes just keep going and going and going, and they need glasses, more glasses. You need glasses to see up close, you need glasses to see far away and stuff, but really it is you refusing to see something that you need to look at. And it's not your eyes that are going, it's some kind of thing connected inside your brain, in that, which your insight. And so your insight is, to me, is for like reflection. So it's for you to be willing to look at yourself. And so the more you're not willing to look at yourself and not willing to deal with things, not willing to make boundaries and stand up for yourself and stuff, the more your eyes will get worse and worse and worse and worse. But it's you refusing to see something. And so anyways, I was like, that's the whole thing. That's more confirmation to me on the mind, body, spirit. Because, yeah, that's just so crazy, though, when you think about how many people, as I started needing glasses when I was in 6th grade, I think. And so, and I was having tons of trouble. I grew up troubled. Like, I grew up in a troubled environment, man. And so, and you, like, I could see things. Let's see if we put that together. Because I couldn't see far away. Oh, yeah, because think about that. Yeah, I couldn't see far. I was nearsighted, so I couldn't see far. But then I was very self-destructive. So it's like I couldn't see the future. So I didn't care what happened to me. I was very caught up in what was going on. Oh, that's so interesting. So if you gotta look at things different than how we look at them. And they train us how to look at things, but it's not the right way. And so we have to reestablish, this other way. And we have to connect to ourselves. We got to realize the information coming in. Our brain is a receiver. We got communication coming in. We have guides all around us. We have a lot of assistance. They can't fix everything for you. They can't make it all better. They can't do they can be there to help you, just like, you're trying to figure something out. And then all of a sudden you get like a little vision, you get a little inner knowing. It's like, oh, I see that all the time. They're always saying things. You can sit and whine and cry. When, how, what? I've been doing a little of that lately. They can't go and be like, okay, well, you've cried enough. We're going to just, give you a new house. No, it is how things have to play out. Which was this? Because it was this comment. Okay, so it was a video I was watching. What was that? I can't remember what it was. Hold on. It was some video. It's probably, I can't remember. I've been watching a lot of videos. that, but this one in the comments, and this person was saying, I think they were talking about the quantum jumping and stuff. And they were saying, man, I can't remember. But something, yeah, if you don't like this, jump over there, jump over here, go where you want to, or something. Just go where you want to go, or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, that doesn't. All I said was, it doesn't seem you're taking into account about fate and destiny, because that plays a role in life here. I didn't say that part, but I'm saying fate and destiny is a thing. And that is your free will, your choice to come in to play a role. You don't just change it. You have an experience, and your experience is the transit, it's the orbit, it's for all the other ones. And these people, like I've said it a bunch of times, yeah, confirmation, they are in the concept of creating. Look at this face. And the concept of creating chaos. And so you have to see that there is purpose, and there's a pace. There's a way things move. You can't just go out of that. Maybe, like I've said, when we get up into this higher vibration of existence, and that is where we can go and jump around. Because in heavens, in that higher vibration, which you consider the heavens, you do jump around. You can just go here, you can go there, you want to do this, you want to do that, you just go, 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 go. You create the world you want. And so it's different. Here, though, we're in a lower vibration. And when you're trying to understand, what's my purpose? What's my meaning of being here? What the fuck am I doing in this weirdo place? Which is so, it's weird, because I have said for a long time it's hell. Everybody, oh no, it's not hell. Really? I'm going to talk about it now? you having different thoughts about it yet? But anyways, it's low vibration, and it's bad things happen here, but we come into this, so you gotta ask yourself, or ask your guides or whatever, what am I doing here? Why did I come here? And that is, you come here to play a role in the movie line. So you have a role to play, even though you think it's not a big role. It still has to do with like every single person that has come across your path, and every interaction you've had. They're dependent on you being there to play that role. And so you fill a role, you fill a space, you come in to play a part, to create the illusion of an experience. But you are a peg in the whole thing. It's not like that you have no reason to be here. Once you enter with like we think of it as like a signed contract. We enter, we sign up for it. But on the entry is like It's like a gentleman's agreement. It's like it's a said thing. You know, you enter into a role, and that role has to play out. And these people keep wanting to discount it, like the role has no significance. You just jump out of it. It's like, yeah, but you come in for that role. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. I still can't see the video though. But they were saying, oh, well, all of us together can change it. All we got to do is all of us together is we just got to think it into, and we can make, oh, it was about the storms, I think. Like, we don't have to have these volcanoes and earthquakes. We can all just think it together and make them stop. Well, for one thing, if we're going to move into a collective consciousness, we have to get there. And then a collective consciousness is a creative mind. And so it's like all the energy that we put out is creating this creative consciousness. Just like it's kind of like Ra from the Book of One claims to be a consciousness of a group. And so that is like what we're creating through this experience. It creates a collective consciousness. And so it's like someone who learned all the lessons from everything that happened. And but the things have to happen. And it's like we can't stop the inevitable. What is meant to be is meant to be. And so it's going to play out how it's going to play out. And these people think like, well, we can just stop it. We can make it stop if we just all come together. But that would be us all coming together, and it stopping would be always what was going to happen. It's like we can't make something happen that's not meant to happen. That's the way I see it. Hold on, let me finish this. It's getting cold now. It was hot when I started. What was that? 36 minutes ago it was hot. Now it's gotten cold. Okay, so the way I see it is we enter into, well, like we're birthed into an experience. So like a movie set or movie role, and like you've signed up, like I'm playing this part. Even if you think like, oh, it's not a big part. Well, it depends on how you elevate yourself, how you feel about yourself. You know, if you don't feel like you have meaning or purpose or value, then yeah, you're little. If you start believing in yourself and believing in your purpose, and then you become bigger. You become your main character, and so and that's what the journey is. You know, some of the journeys are in regards to that. Like at this point in time, that is seems to be what most things are about, is this elevation of self, this coming into your truth. And so this is becoming your own main character, and get out of this sluggish, beat down, compliant kind of side of yourself, which we all have these sides. It's not like you're a bad, stupid person because you do. It's just something that is part of this storyline. And so this storyline is playing out, but we enter into it to play the role that we come into play. And so the story has a story. It's a story. And so the story has a story. You don't come into it and then start trying to disrupt it. That is you putting things out of sync. That is you know, that's creating karma for yourself. That's, you know, you not getting what you're doing here. And so that is trying to create a ripple in the wrong direction. You're trying to, no, you're not trying to go with the flow. You're trying to put up obstacles. You're trying to stop things from being what they're here to be. And trying to, and not seeing the purpose of what it is that you can learn from what's going on. And it can be, you know, I mean, believe you me, like some of these days of frustration, it's like, fuck, man, what more do I have to learn from this? Like, how long do I have to live in these certain, you know, but I was like that, whining about that at the other place too. I'm going to whine about it until I get to the best place. When I get to the best place and I'm, you know, living the best life, and then, you know, who knows, maybe I'll find something to whine about that, and that's my journey, I guess. I don't know. You know, it's all opportunities to see ourselves. But I do get the frustration of being like, you know, this isn't where I want to be. This isn't how I want things to be. I want to be like over here doing this and that. But then there's a big point of being present in the moment and understanding what you're doing and the different things. Like, there's definitely sometimes where I'm like, if shit's about to go down, and it does seem as it gets closer and closer, it could be a big thing. I'm here to help my mom. She won't be able to see or whatever, which so the scientists are saying this thing that's coming in November, that before, I guess, they said it was one thing. Now they're saying it's a giant mothership, and it's coming in like they're coming in to get us. So I don't know, November, for me to expect the alien invasion. They're shooting at us. Well, we'll know who's been shooting at us, these motherfuckers. But I think they're going down before that. And, oh, and there's another big thing going on, the debt calculator. Now there's a big banner going across it. The Fed's done. And you have a PDF you can click on it. It tells us the story of our history. So there's a lot of signs that things are changing in our financial, and it's coming in. I'm hoping August 1st, because it is. If it does all of a sudden have these big changes, I am going to be looking for, where am I going to get a place, go, which I want to get land, and then I want to have more buildings or whatever, So I just got to see what's to come, but and it can be frustrating, and you can get in this, like, you want to make things happen, you want to change things, you want to go beat on doors and try and get to where you want to go, but it really is have to do with the flow of getting there. And so when you have these people who keep thinking, well, we'll go and we'll change it, we'll do this, we'll do that, and getting frustrated because these things keep happening. That's what we came here for. We came here for this ending, and it's gonna end in a dramatic way. There's going to be all these storms, all these endings of violence. There's gonna be violence, more violence. There's already been so much violence going in these big cities. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse, and even in small ones too. There's gonna be it depends on what has to play out. Depends on what's being revealed. But there's going to be more and more destruction in the cities. And think about this intense energy. It's fucking intense. And then you think about, like, if you go rural, which I didn't understand this until I went and experienced it. Confirmation is because I was a city person. I was like, I wanted to move to New York. And be like, oh man, I want to live in the, in the heart of it. I want to be in the, all the energy and stuff. And then when I moved out rural, and it was like, fuck, man, this is peaceful. This feels good. God, it's so calm. Feels so good. And then I would go into town to go to the store, and would go straight ass into hectic, and people zooming around and people running into each other. It's just like intense. And the energy is super high. And then when you start understanding, that this avatar is not hold in all your energy is pulsating out. And the more in some of these darker energies are intense, man. Anger, hatefulness, bitterness, all of this stuff, and it's all coming to the surface. So all the things that people are trying to hold in, it's all coming out of them. And then so it's coming out of people, and they're hitting into each other, and then it's just creating more and more tension, more and more anger. And so, and then right now, while it's so tense, like, we should all be able to, in a perfect world, then we would all be out on our own. We would all be out in our own little spaces going through this as the earth is cleansing, and we would be out there, and we wouldn't be as intense. It's fucking intense, man. Like, when I said that about, like, there's weird shit going on around here. Like, my mom had this radio thing that she got, like a speaker, and you go turn it off, it just comes back on by itself and starts playing music. You go turn it off, it just comes back on by itself, starts playing music. It's like, I keep telling her, I don't know what the haunted you got going on here. And she just laughs about it. Yeah, I don't know, because she doesn't believe in any of that stuff, which trips me out. It's like, how can you believe in a God and not believe in the supernatural? But everything is, like the aliens are devils and all that stuff. So I don't understand all the programming and the indoctrination. So to me, it just boggles my mind. I mean, But, and this is for people to unravel for themselves. You got to unfold your own beliefs and figure them out. Like, I can just sit back and be like, whoa, I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, there's weird shit going on, man. So, did I already say that ship is 2 miles long that's coming at us in November? And more splits have opened up. Now it's in Arizona and another one somewhere else. I can't remember where, Kansas or something, split open. But so the fuck, man, I feel like I'm all over the place now. Okay, so you come into the experience and you come in to play a role, to be a certain individual, because the individual that you choose, you represent yourself. So your body will represent the things you need to work on. And so, like everything being out of alignment, that was, if I wouldn't have gone to medical and I would have gone to, a pyramid and went spiritual, then, I would have been shown where I was out of alignment. But the world is already set. Your transits are already set to help you heal the things that have you out of alignment. And so that's why you don't want to be fighting against them, because it's already set up. The game is set for you to go here, 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 and here. And then if you are in alignment with the experience, you're going to start healing from these things, and it's going to start healing you. And so the game has more significance to what you're doing here. And so I bet so many people, they don't get the right thing from their transits or interactions. People who come through their orbit, they don't get the right thing because they fight against it. They become the victim. Poor me. I'm so beat down. Everybody hates me. Life sucks. And all that stuff. And so you have to be in the right state of mind. That is where, spirituality comes in, because then you start understanding there's a reason, there's a purpose. This is happening because of this and this and this. So you start being more present in the experience. And the experiences are, like I was saying, it's trippy, because there's certain things that I was here to work on, and then they start to play out again. And you start going in that direction, but it starts going completely topsy-turvy to get you out of that and move you into another. But you have to take the steps, and you're always going to take the steps when you take the steps. It's set. The story is set. You can't do something. You can't trick the universe and all of a sudden, like, oh, well, they didn't see that coming. Okay, that's that's a little crazy thought. So no, it's like you're always going to do what you're going to do. It's always going to happen the day it happens. It's always going to be what it's going to be. And then so these people who aren't in alignment with spirituality and what they're doing here and stuff, then they keep thinking, well, we can stop it. We can make it go different. It's like, no, this world is going to play out. This world is going to end in the way of what was is going to be over, and something new is coming. And so the old land masses, the cities, all of that stuff is going to go into the history books. It's going to go down. It's going to go under the water, just like, there's all these things that are coming up that are history. There's these, oh, well, there's a city underneath the water. There's a playground underneath the water. There's all these things, because that's what it does. It shifts around. And so we're in this big shift of the earth, the land mass that we're on is making changes. Oh yeah, there was another thing too. So I've talked about this a few times, about those guys that I'd seen that were in Mexico, and that woman, she's trying to go around all these immigrants and, like, where'd you come from? How'd you get here? What are you doing? And all that stuff. And so she had stopped these three, and she's like, where are you from? It was like India, Pakistan, and the other one I think was Pakistan or something. And so she's like, well, how'd you get here? What airport did you come? And they're like, well, we walked. And she's like, what do you mean you walked? Did you walk from the airport? And they're like, no, we just walked. And she's like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, she couldn't wrap her head around it, which to me, I know that there's portals, I know that there's passageways and stuff, and I know that they're lying about every motherfucking thing. And so I was like, oh my God, I knew, like, we could fucking, they are lying about how we have to get around the whole motherfucking thing. And so there was another guy who got the same thing, I guess, from me. So he started doing research, and because he believed it too. It's like, oh fuck, they walked from there. Like, well, how they get there? Which to me, it's like they go into a mountain like in Afghanistan, and they come out in the Grand Canyon. And so he said that he went and looked at the maps. He said, we don't have all these oceans dividing us like they're telling us. He said, and there's passageways that you can go. Like, you go to some of these places and you go through this trail and you're going to come out here. Go through this trail, you're going to come out here. Which to me is also has to do with portals and stuff. So I just know there's a lot, it's way different than what we've been told. But that's another part of controlling us and keeping us on petroleum and keeping control over our movements. Everything is about controlling our movements. And I don't know why, the Middle East is having this freedom of movement, kind of. It's kind of like, though, that they're using them to create chaos and using it as a beard, because it's the same thing that they've always do, is they find some group of people to use as a beard for their shenanigans. And so there's, whatever. But those people have been under control, like, I mean, us Americans, we've been under, for a couple hundred years, supposedly. But there's so many things. Oh my God, the more you see these people showing these old buildings, where they're always calling them like Tartarian buildings and stuff, like all the capitals, you go around to all these cities, capitals, they're all fancy, made out of marble and all that stuff. I know, like in Olympia, and so all those buildings are way older. They're not like, they didn't just put these up. These are buildings that they took, and they've wiped out a bunch of buildings. I think that's what, the state fair thing was about too. I mean, they wanted, I have no fucking idea, man. All I know is that they lie about everything. And we can move around a lot different. And we're going to go more into that, being able to move, which to me, it's going to be, I'll be steps. Like, probably we'll get off of the wheels first, and we'll start being in flying cars. And then we'll start learning how to access portals and be able to move faster to get places. Then we'll start being able to figure out how to, do like on Star Trek, where we can just go, go here and be there. So I think it will keep going to pretty soon, I'll be like, we can just zip over here. We want to be there, we'll just be there. So, but it's like a deprogramming. It's like a going into, it's kind of like being, like, you got to know how to use something properly, or it gets misused. And so power can be misused. And so it's baby steps. It's like going towards something, but things are going to get better and better and better in different places. Like, I still don't know about this AI reality that's going to establish itself or whatever. But, there's lots of people who want to go do that. And I saw somebody saying AI, Elon said, you got to watch out for this AI. It's, they're demons. So, see, there's some weird shit going on. And all these people who are just totally, their chat GPT is their best friend. And it's like, you got to connect to outside of you. But then, if you're low vibration, you're still going to be connecting with these low vibrational spirit. Like, you got to recognize where the vibration is. If it's high vibration or low vibration, all I can tell you from what I've noticed is the low vibration is the loudest. The high vibration is the quietest. So like I've said, it's like going through a party and you want to get to the back of the room where the quiet guy's sitting back there by himself. You get back there, and that's where you're going to find the higher mind. That's where you're going to find the better insights. Otherwise, the loud is like, the being, the driving, it's to motivate your ego, like, and it can be, there's a lot of negativity in that. And so that's where you have to find your balance and stuff. You know, you can't just feed into that energy. And you have to recognize that there's so many people who are just battling the whole system, and, you know, the matrix and all that stuff. But you got to see it's just a storyline. It's different storylines. So if you want to think about the matrix, to me, is just like a storyline. It's like the set of a movie. You come into play on that set of that movie, then you leave that one and you just go somewhere else. And the more that you establish yourself as an energy, the more that you have freedom of movement outside of this. And so then you can go to all different places, and it has to do with your vibration. If you can access, you can't access places that are high vibration if you're low vibration. And I think people will start to begin to understand that more as more comes into our reality, because you're going to start seeing the higher vibration. You know, it starts coming into our reality because we're changing. And so it's going like this, and it's there, but we don't see it. Then all of a sudden we're going to start seeing it because we're going to start going like this. And you can feel it. And that's why I said it's causing more people to go crazy, because the darkness, which this is the darkness inside of them. And then we have them all compacted together, and everybody's darkness is bouncing off. And so, yeah, it's going to be more and more violence in some of these towns. But the one thing is, when we were out there yesterday, this tripped me out. I mean, so we're all there floating our little things. And I was looking at the sky and the clouds, and I was like, oh, so I've been saying how weird the sky looks anyways, and how weird the clouds look. And the way they are. Like, it used to be like up, but now it's like out. It's like it's flattening down or something. And it's like you're looking at the sky and it's going way out. And so there was these clouds coming from out, and they all look like spaceships. They all look like, I was like, dang, that's a lot of, if all of those are clouds are really spaceships, then that's like a fleet of ships coming. And there was so fucking many, and they were all the same shape. And so I was watching them, and then I would I'd start doing something else, and I'd look back, and they were moving, and then they moved out of the thing and went somewhere else. And there wasn't more coming that was just like them. It was like a whole fleet went. And which I think that is the kind of stuff that's going on. And to us, you know, it can look like it's clouds, but it can be like, you know, that in this other dimension, in this other vibration, that it is, if we were in that, we would see the ships going by, but we aren't there yet. So we look up and we see clouds. It's kind of, but I know a lot of people say, well, they hide in the clouds and stuff like that. But the way that they were moving, and I was like, man, that's so trippy. Another thing too, I had on my sunglasses, which I usually don't wear any, but since we were just gonna be laying out there like that, I was like, you know, I'll put them on. And then I kept taking them down because I kept being like, what in the world? So there was these other weird clouds, and they kept looking really blurry, like they were like blurring. And I was like, it's like our reality is blurring. It's like this shifting. So things are blurring. And then we got these ships coming through. I'm telling you, it was a fucking fleet of ships. There was no fucking way that all these clouds could look like that. It was so trippy, and they're coming from way out there and coming across, and I'm coming from up there and coming down. No, they're coming way out there and coming across like that. And they went across and went wherever they went. But anyways, I thought that was trippy. But anyway, so when you are here, you come in. So it's like you come in, like I said, like this gentleman's agreement to come into this experience, and all the other experiencers around you. It's all so that you bounce back and forth off of each other, because it's, you know, when you get into alignment of what you're doing here, you see it way different than how people see it. People don't see it for what it is. And so then they don't understand it, and they want to fight against it. And then they come up with these theories, whatever, that that they can change it and control it, but there's nothing that can change that wasn't always meant to change. And so, like I said, if all of a sudden we become a collective consciousness that is, well, we no longer have this, we're going to end that or something. But to me, it seems like we're far away from that. We're a long ways from that. I mean, we're still at this point where so many people haven't even faced themselves. They have no idea. They're just living in the lies. They have no idea what is real, and that so many people think Donald is the bad guy. Which this was a perfect thing. What was it? It was a perfect thing to show. So it was this girl. She was saying, "Oh yeah, okay." Let me see if I can see it clear. Because it was like, she was saying something like, what's so strange is that all these people, like when we were out there, everybody who had seen already, which the MAGA collective that is strong in that, in that site of seeing that we are being run by pedos. And so, we got that insight during the first reign. And that would have been, for me, it was at the end when the sickness came. Because before that, I was resistant to him, too. I was a liberal. And so I was resistant to him. But I did see some stuff where it was about the letter. And I was, like, very intrigued by the things that were being said, because it was totally in alignment with how I was seeing things. And so I was like, I'm interested in that. But then the other liberals, my family members and stuff said, oh, that's crazy and stuff. But it was already opened in my mind. So I had an awareness to it. So I paid attention. And then, but it wasn't until the sickness started when I started saying, oh, wait a minute. The media is lying about this guy. And then everybody freaked out, and all of a sudden I was crazy, racist, and all that stuff. And then, and then as we went, so I joined into that group of the conservative, the MAGA, and stuff like that. So I became under that umbrella. And then, but I didn't just stay as a dedicated. I started seeing that that's, we're not supposed to just hang on to somebody else's coattail. This is all about awakening into your truth and about becoming sovereign. So, and I knew, I don't think I knew yet, but I knew that he was going to start doing things that was going to be pushing people out of his dedication. So he was going to start being like all over the place to people. But it was to help people to push themselves into independence, into sovereignty. And so it was for a purpose. And so some of the things, it's not, necessarily because he believes that or thinks that or whatever. The whole thing is about getting us to become into our own truth and not just be like, well, whatever he does, whatever he says. And so, but so at that time then, the Joe slid into our fucking DMs, right? And so then, but there was a whole movement towards, the pedos are running this world. We want the pedos. We want the list. Which there's a thing going around now about, Jeffrey. He was that dumb, right? And that's where he gave all his money, and all the people who took his money, and all the people that went there were all in that category where they keep wanting to go after the red. It was the blue, and which that's a given. Like that's like a no-brainer right there. But anyways, but it had to be said, and so that is out there going around. And but at this time though, where all of us, and I know because I said it. I've still got family members laughing at me when I sit there and say stuff like, these crazy motherfuckers eat kids and shit, like they're crazy. Oh God, you're so crazy and all that. And so we all went through this being told how crazy we were. And, you believe whatever on the internet, you're so crazy and all that stuff, right? And so now the tables have turned. Now, when we were saying that it was this group of people who were doing it, and they all thought we were so crazy, but now they are all thinking this group of people is doing it, so now they're all going off on, you know, they're all a bunch of pedos, all that. So it's like the tables turn, and but see how like he's the catalyst, because they couldn't see it or hear it when it was the other side. But then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's him, yeah, well, yeah, you know, he's a monster. And then all this different stuff coming out, like this girl who's saying that he took her by force when she was 13, and his involvement with Jeffrey and all that stuff. And to me, it still is like, you know, when you are running in certain circles, you're going to come across different people. You're going to come into your orbit. From what I understand, though, his sights were set on keeping that guy out of his thing, because when he came to the Mar, that you know, Jeffrey came into that space, then he started trying to get girls. And Donald knew, because Donald knew everything that was going on there, because he talked to everybody there. Like there was no employee or something that was below him. It was like we're a community, and we know each other. And so he started getting wind of what Jeffrey was doing. So you know, he blackballed him. You're not allowed here. And I don't know if it put it into his sights over the corruption, but yeah, they were at some of the same parties and stuff. All these people with a lot of money, you know, they end up at these same kind of places. Which Bob, the preacher, you know, where so many people believe this is really Elvis. There's so many things that it's like, that has got to be, like, how could it be this many things? It's just too weird. But you'd have to go look up all of the stuff about, I think his name's Bob Carroll. You'd have to go look up all the stuff about him to see, like, you know, the connections to all of Elvis' family, his play. Like, it's beyond. Where it's like, oh, this has got to be. And plus, it does look like him. Plus, he's all into the singing and stuff. And Elvis was also into gospel. It was like he kind of brought a kind of different kinds of things in to create his own sound, kind of. But so, and now he's like this preacher in a small town, and he is sings and stuff at his sermons and whatever. But now he's having a concert. And so everybody's like, what? So he's having this concert in Alabama. And what really has got people going is the price of the tickets. Like a VIP is $200 or something. And then I think a regular ticket's maybe $100 or something. But if you go as a party of 8, so if you go get a table, it's $2,000. And people are like, this is insane. And so, yeah, and there's going to be disclosure, I'm sure. People are going to be like, oh, it's really all, I don't know. I don't know how things are going to play out. But there's always been these, because they're all on these foundations and this give money to this, give money to that, because it's a fucking big old laundromat. And so there would always be these big dinners and stuff, you know. But some of these were like $20,000 for a table. And so people go to these functions, and it would be all these rich people, because these people are trying to get these people's money, and so it's all this stuff going. So of course you're going to be at the same kind of places and stuff. Of course there's going to be pictures where you're in the same pictures. Like, that just seems like, obviously, like, but anyways, you've got all these people now believing that Donald is the pedo. He's the big problem. But it's like, well, that's funny, because why would he draw attention to that? Why would he say, this is what I'm taking on? This is my platform. This is who I'm taking down in this world. And here I come. Why would he do that if you were one? And then it was also, there was a lawyer who was going after a certain group. I can't remember which one. And it may have had to do with Jeffrey's Island thing. But and so they had called all these different people in for depositions. And Donald was the only one who, he came and said, hey, what can I do? How can I help? And, you know, everybody else was like, I don't know. So I heard this years ago, this lawyer saying, you know, he was the one who's forthright, you know, he's right there wanting to do whatever he can to help because, yeah, he's against it. I mean, these kids, there was a whole thing about like they don't drink, they don't do drugs, they're all just like these really, you know, he has a certain way that, you know, he's got more morals or something, but the people can't see that because the media says that he doesn't, so they believe what the media says. And I think, you know, they're going to be shown something different, but it is like, see how he's the catalyst, how they, you know, something that they ignored that they thought was so crazy, but as soon as they think, oh, well, he's involved, then all of a sudden it's like, see what's going on in the world, and he's trying to make it where to continue it. It's like, oh, you guys are in for a surprise. That's coming. So you see how it works. That's why it is, it's all about this. He's the catalyst to show them, to show everybody, not just them. We can't just be like, oh, it's them against us. No, there's all these different things being shown, and it's all to give us new insight, to give us new ways of seeing. And there's just so many things that people are blind to. And it's just so crazy too, because religion being, you know, you'd think that they would be the super spirits or whatever, but no, they don't even believe in spirituality. They just believe in doing what you're told and being what, you know, your whole journey in life is to try and get into heaven and stuff. And it's like, there's so many things. It's like, well, why would a God create things? Then it would be, but you're not allowed to do it. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that, I can't do this. Like, you got to make better sense of things. You can't just, I don't know. It's like, this is what a good person does. This is what a bad person does. You know, it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I say this stuff I believe. It's different than that. And, but it's a way to keep so much control over, you know, one's spirit. They've got these people's spirits locked down. And so, and you know, it remains to be seen how it's going to play out. And I bet, see, it's going to play out. These people who want to block all this stuff and make it not play out, well, it's going to play out. I mean, we're here for this storyline. This story, but this is the thing too, is this storyline is a bridge to other ones. So that's why I've said, you know, depending on what bridge you're on, where you're headed, that is, this one is ending, but it's new ones are beginning. And so it's an ending and a beginning. And I think that there has been some that were endings, and then everybody left. Stage was cleared, and then a new one, well, except for the vamps of these people, but then a new one would begin, and then all the souls would start coming in to create the experiences inside the reality. So it's like they're dependent on us because we come in and then we create the world, but they feed off of it. So they feed off of the world we create, and then they, but when you're disconnected from your soul, then they can turn what you create into what they want created. And that's what we're breaking free from right now, is that we've been creating the world they wanted because they fed off of it. And the more that we can see that, the more we pull back, the more we don't give them anything to feed off of, and then they die. It's the same thing of like killing off the parasites inside your body. Quit giving them things to feed off of. And so we are doing that at this time. So everything is micro, macro. And so, anyways, but that's what's really the thing. It's not to focus on like getting, we all need to go together in a mass meditation. Mass meditations do have an energy. When we all come together with our energy, we can do things. And that's where we're going to start branching off. And some will be more directed in their energy. That to me is, I know the age of Aquarius, that's what it's going to be about, is us coming into the realization of how to direct our energy more together, and that's where communities are going to be built. And which, this is a cool one. This is one, I think it's over somewhere like by Norway or Sweden or something. I want to go to this place. This is the kind of place where I want to be. And so it is, it's a small community, and there's a bridge to get there, and there's no time. And not only that, they they don't go by time, but they have weird things over their sun moon cycles. So it's kind of more like how Alaska has whatever 90 days of darkness, 90 days of light or something. So it's kind of more like that. They'll have a darkness that goes for a long time and a light. Theirs is different. So they're not in the same cycle, but they also have crazy auroras. So they have got crazy, it looks magical. In the video I saw, it's like, fuck, man, this place is magical looking. But the people, they don't go by time because there's no reason to, I guess. And they even, the bridge is filled with watches. Everybody just leaves their watch, and they don't have time there. And the video I saw said, you know, it's nothing to see somebody out doing yard work at 3 in the morning, what we would consider 3 in the morning, but they sleep and eat and whatever on their cycle. They don't live by this restricted cycle that's created to consume them. And so they just live in natural, with harmony in the environment. And that's where I think that we're going to go more into those kind of places. But there will, but these collective consciousness kind of things where we start coming together in a certain vibration and we start creating communities, that is where these different communities are going to become into existence. But it's going to be us all like being on the same wavelength and using our energies together to create the world we want. And that's why I say in the future where I'm going is going to be lots of different vibes, lots of different communities. It's not going to be just like set neighborhoods and stuff where we've had city planners and developers and stuff in charge. No, it's going to be like you could go to a place and it's going to be like a bunch of houses on stilts, or you know, that are going to look like space age. Or it'll be all different kinds of things, all different kinds of places, and all different ways of things being, where it's going to be just like other realities are being born. And that's where we're going to have, and then it will become your reality. And so if there will be different realities, it will be just like right now there's different realities around us, but we just don't have the awareness of them because we only have the awareness of the ones that are under the umbrella that we're under. And that's under the umbrella of control, under this global regime. But we are going to move out of that energy. That's what's breaking apart. And the more that people wake up and the more people pull their energy from it, then that leaves it dilapidating. It's falling in on itself. So it is in the world, the earth is through all of the tension of the vibration of us, all of our emotional energy and stuff, it creates this huge tension that's happening, which, you know, it has something to do with the sun too, because in the prophecies and stuff, it said this about the sun, because when I was a kid it was orange, and then it went to kind of yellow, and now it's just full on white. And I know that they also have fake suns, but I don't know if, you know, I don't know what the real orbit is of the real sun, and if they have a reflector, because it seems like to me something with the fake sun is a reflector. It's like a magnifying glass, so it's catching an image and then reflecting it. And but everything in the firmament and stuff is falling apart. Everything, like I said, it's like our atmosphere is coming down on us, like the firmament's coming down, and it's spreading out. And so, but the sun is definitely turning white, and in the prophecy it becomes whiter and whiter and brighter, and then it's going to go black, which they keep saying this blackout's coming. And we have this big energy, or this big heat wave coming, which I think, you know, that could be a thing that's going to put out I mean, it could burn out the sun for all I don't know how it's all going to go down, but it could definitely cause it to be a problem in the power grid, because all these people trying to keep cool. You know, one thing to do if you want to keep cool is keep your curtains closed And you probably want to put blankets over your curtains, like really black out the windows inside the house to keep the heat from coming through. So do everything you can to block the heat from coming through the windows, because it heats up everything in the house. And then just try and stay out indoors and ride it out. And if the power goes out, you know, I mean, then you got situations with the food and stuff. And I would say have propane in your grill, have a way to grill, have charcoal or something, have a way to be able to cook your food outside. And then also, of course, have food that you don't have to cook. I still have my peanut butter and crackers ready to go. They're about 2 years old now. Now these are new ones, but it's like it's been going on for a long time. Just goes and goes and goes. But you know, everything is like we're coming faster and faster and faster, closer and closer and closer. Things are spinning quicker and quicker and quicker. And it is like, yeah, it's kind of like a ride spinning quicker and quicker and quicker, and then throwing us out. And it depends on how you land. That is something too that I felt when I had realized that I had been running these programs of my own, defeating my own self in life. And it was once I was thrown out. Like I've said before, it was the luckiest thing I ever did when that number 4 left me. And because I would just keep on trying, and you know, always take it in on myself. I'm doing something wrong. I could make it better and stuff. And so for him to walk out on me was just the best thing. And it was very unseen. I didn't see it coming. And but once it happened and it threw me, then all of a sudden I realized it was like threw me off the merry-go-round. It was like I'd been on this merry-go-round going around and round and round. And you start realizing your own patterns, your own cycles. Fuck, dude. And so I was going around and around and around, and then I was just thrown off the ride. And then I landed, and it was like I fell. And it was like I scratched my knees and stuff, and all of a sudden, it was like, you know, you're hurt. You're in pain there for a minute, but then all of a sudden it feels like, oh, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, was getting off that motherfucker. Spinning, 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 going faster and faster and faster. But see, that's what's playing out now in the world. It's spinning faster and faster and faster. And it's going to just start spitting people out of the ride, which in the micro macro, it's kind of trippy because there's all these malfunctions happening with the rides and amusement parks, crazy ones, which is one. I don't even know if these people could live. Like, I don't even know how they would rescue them. It was one of those rides where it goes up. I don't know for sure how it goes. I don't like these kind of rides. I love roller coasters, but these things where they jolt you up and drop you down or something, like these elevator falling rides or something. And but this one, it was something, and they were up, but they were all upside down. So the person filming was showing this ride's been stuck for 5 minutes, and he said now it's like 7 minutes, and it was stuck, and all the people were up in the air, and they were all hanging upside down. I don't know how long you can hang upside down before all the blood goes into your head. And that's not good, just the same as having no oxygen and no blood. It's bad either direction. If you have no blood or no oxygen in your mind, then your mind starts dying. But if it's overfilled, I think it's the same thing. Like, it's not good. And it's so crazy how, you know, we're not hearing some of these things. But so as this guy's filming this and he's showing, because they're at the amusement park, because this is how you keep seeing it, is other people filming, because the people on the malfunctioning ride can't film it. So this one was, the people are all hanging upside down. So he said, man, this ride's they've been stuck there for 5 minutes, and people are screaming and stuff. And then he said, and then he, you know, did another part and said, they've been hanging there now like 7 minutes upside down, and then it's not moving. I don't know what they're going to do. And then all of a sudden the speaker comes on, and it starts telling everybody, clear the park. Everyone must leave the park immediately. So I don't know, like, what the fuck, you know, I don't know. Because, I mean, we can't really trust media, and even when people are trying to speak out about things and then they clear it, you know, you'd have to know one of the people on there to know what happens. And then the people who are trying to speak out, even though there's going to be more holes poking through, you know, there's still things where people can't get information out there. So I don't know. I don't know how they would get them down. Like, you have fire trucks come in and then put long ladders and then try and take them out individually. And then, man, as soon as you unhook them, they would be like dead. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, it seems like a nightmare. It seems horrible. So I don't know. And there was another one that was, so it's one of those rides that spins around, and then on the spinning, it has each spin thing has another 3 or 4 cars. So you have this spinning, and you have these all spinning. So it's all this spinning, 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 which is another thing, like the micro, macro. And so all these ones are spinning, and it had been spinning for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it wasn't stopping. And the people on it were screaming, "Stop the ride, stop, stop." Can you imagine? Oh my God, just spinning and spinning. It's one thing when you go for a couple minutes, or even, how long are some of these rides? 90 seconds, and you've been going 15 minutes. Like, it would fucking, I mean, you shake a baby and you fucking break their brains. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not good. None of these things are good, but these malfunctionings are kind of representative of everything that's going on in the world. So everything is the micro, macro, everything is representative of what's happening. That we do have all this crazy shit going on. And I do know that when I fell out of my cycles, that's what it felt like. I was coming off of a ride that was spinning, and all of a sudden I was thrown out. And it took me, over time, where I started seeing the cycles. I started seeing how it just was like, fuck, man. And I stopped playing the victim. I stopped being in abusive relationships because I started seeing, oh, I'm also playing a part. That's why they feel abused by me, because it's these two energies going back and forth, the giver and the taker, and you're switching roles all the time. And so the but you have to see the patterns and what's going on. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, this person's just abusive, they're abusing me and stuff. You got to see, like, you play a part. And then it goes even deeper into past lives and things like that, and how things are playing out, so that you can learn and change and grow and see your patterns and stuff. But anyways, I just found that kind of fascinating, how these things, like these people hanging upside down, people spinning out of control, because the world it's in the upside down. It is spinning out of control, and it is speeding up. And there is a lot of people who want off this ride. But everything is about going more internal, really trying to understand, what is this all about? It's not just some crazy thing out in space that is just happening by accident. No, there's purpose behind everything, and you have a purpose being here. And the more that you can get into your purpose, the more that you can make sense of things. And the more you can start to control things. And so developing out of your patterns and seeing your own toxicity is going to help you move into this collective consciousness, going into the people of your higher vibration. So it's the connection to your higher self, and then you connecting with all the people who have also connected to their higher self. And so wherever your vibration is outside of here, becomes your community, your world of existence, the reality. Then we're going to have all these different realities that are going to start popping up. And it's, it's not like there's we can be like, oh, well, this is low vibration. We're all here in low vibration. So this is low vibration where we're at. And we aren't at low vibration. The world that we entered is low vibration. And so we enter it, but then the whole thing, the challenge is connecting to yourself and seeing what you're doing here, figuring it out. And you have to use these other beings, your guides and stuff. You have to connect outside of here to be able to see what this place is, to get a different sight of this place, to get insight into this place. You can't just try and figure it out here with a bunch of other people that don't know what the fuck's going on. You have to connect outside of here. So you got to connect, to me, your God self, your higher self, your highest aspect. That's where you want to connect into. And then you realize, like, oh, I've got fucking all sorts of guides. I've got all sorts. And then you connect into the universal consciousness. Then you can get all sorts of information. So it's just an expansion of self. And that raises you into hooking into your higher vibration and pulling yourself out of the lower vibration. So it's like your lifeline. It's like I see it as that life preserver ring. So we're in the depths of hell, and your higher self has the ring, and it's funny too. The ring, the portal, like all of it. It's like the portal, the ring, the life. It's weird because there is this stuff about rings and stuff. I just saw, like, took my mom to get her car the oil changed or something. So we're sitting in there waiting, and the movie that was on the TV was Harry Potter, and I've never watched him, even though my kids really into him. They read all the books. They were really into all the movies and stuff. I was in a place in my life where I was busy working all the time, and I didn't watch it and stuff. But it does have a lot of stuff that is true. When I was watching it, and the thing, it was like, oh, there's a lot of truth here in this Harry Potter situation. But seems like there was something with a ring. But anyways, but it's funny because, yeah, this ring, this portal, but your higher self is holding the ring, the truth, the life preserver, the portal to the exit out, and you got to connect with who's holding the ring so that you can find your way out of here, and it pulls you up out. It doesn't really pull you out, but it pulls you mentally, spiritually out of the cesspool of what is here. Now it's when you can start seeing, like, oh man, this is hell, man. This is what hell is this place. And but you have to connect to your highest vibration, which everybody has one. Everybody, well, I mean, not every single being that is here. Some of the beings are of their vibration bends, like, the Dracos, the Bamps, those, that's their vibration. They're playing their role of who they are. We are playing a role of a facet of ourselves. So we are just a facet of ourselves. We are ourselves are out here. And so that's where you want to connect to the self of you that is outside of the game. And then that is your life preserver. That is where your truth comes in. And then there's all sorts of truth out there. It's like, I'm just not making this shit up. Like, all the stuff I say, it's out there for everybody. You just got to connect to what's out there, connect to your higher self. And that takes a lot of pulling free from the indoctrination, the programs, the compliancy issues, or, the part of you that is, that we regard as your ego, that is fragile, that it needs everybody to like them, and you'll do anything to get it. And then, you want to be a good person. You want to be a successful person. You want to be this. You want to be that. And all these parts of yourself. Well, those are the parts of yourself that you have to re-examine when you connect to your higher self. That's the essence of healing, is healing these aspects of yourself that are willing to give and give and give and try and try and try, climb a waterfall to get to where you want to be. And then be frustrated and mad at God himself. It's like, God sucks, man. He's not a good guy. And so, anyways, it's what this world creates, and they do want you off of that. They do want you to worship these low vibrational beings and low vibrational spirits. But there has been a lot of successful spirits who have come here and understood what's going on here and successfully been able to move through. There's been other ones that have been high vibration that have come here who get regarded as gods and stuff and are worshipped, and it's just a lot going on here. It's the journey back to self. That's what's the main thing that's going on here, is you figuring you out, you going through the different experiences to understand yourself. And so, anyways, I've been yakking. There seemed like that there was some other stuff, though, that was going on that I wanted to say. I know that there's a lot of storms, a lot of things happening, a lot of violence, and people freaking out. And there's going to be more people. It's the freakouts aren't going to stop. It's going to keep going. But it's the tension building to push people into this connecting to your life preserver, to You know, they're looking for a savior, but you're here to save yourself. And you have to go in to be saved. You have to go inside yourself, because that's where you find your truth. That's where you find your higher self, is through you. You're not going to find it outside of you. You have to go in. It's like the phone lines inside, and you have to connect. And that's where you will find your truth. As long as you're looking outside of yourself, you're just going to find frustration in other people, is ego, and it's in these tensions have been building for life after life after life. Like, there's a reason why you get so emotional and so triggered by different ones. It's because you guys go through these different lives after lives, and then, you know, it's real. Like, they really do piss you off. They really do fuck each other over back and forth, back and forth. And there's just so much sad stuff going, man. Fuck, there's a lot of sad shit going on. But it's all these different souls, stories, and journeys, and they're different things playing out. So, and it's all said. No matter how much people don't want to believe that, they want to think that things are just happening accidentally and there's no purpose here. That's you disconnected from yourself. Once you connect to yourself, then things will start making sense. You'll start realizing things in another, you know, more profound way. So, anyways, before we start the beef liver, I just tried all. I was like, oh, my hair stop falling out. So, but it's so crazy because just those chews. I mean, I see these things all the time of people like, oh yeah, I've been on the chews for a couple weeks. Now my hair is all grown back in. Look how thick and lush it is. It's like, fuck, dude, I don't know what the hell my problem is then. And then, oh, and there's a new toothpaste thing too that is it's from Japan or something like that, and it's probiotics, and there's 6 probiotics, and it grows your teeth back. So I'm getting one of those. Well, I'm going to order some of those on payday, and we'll see if that doesn't speed it up, because I've been doing the one with the hydroxy apatite stuff. So, and it's still slow, but oh look, looks a lot lighter today. It's still tender as fuck though, but it was broken bad. But anyways, there's this other stuff, and it's, you have to get the right one. There's a bunch of fake ones, but it's SP6, but you have to get the one that's MS and then Doctor, so DrWilkes, I think. So it's MS Dr. Wilk. It has to say that at the top. If you just get the PB6 or whatever it is, toothpaste, then it's not the same thing, because it has to have these 6 probiotics. But there's a whole bunch of fake ones out there, and they won't do anything for your teeth. So you have to get this specific one. And now that I've seen that one, now there's a whole bunch more popping up of these. So there's some toothpaste out there. You gotta pay a lot more money. It's not Crest or Colgate, not Dr. Tim's or whatever, not those ones that you buy at the grocery store. Fuck, sometimes it's creepy as fuck. I see a shadow coming. No, I just hear noises all the time. Surprised the fucking radio hasn't come on. But anyways, there's other things. But the whole thing on this one is grows your teeth back. Like, that's the thing, is that they want us to go in and get parts of us cut out and remove parts of us. And there was another thing. I think this guy was talking about a root canal he had done, and it became, because they all get infected. Like, we all have anything we've done in our mouths, it's got little infections going, and those little infections are all connected to different organs. So we have different struggles, and it's all a part of the making us sick situation. So remove parts from us, make us sicker and sicker, put stuff in, make us sicker and sicker. So anyways, we all got to get to this point of trusting ourselves and learning how to, you know, use this avatar, this hologram avatar. So weird, but it's the density in our belief system that creates this identity and this way of believing, you know, the flesh and blood and surgery and bleed and all this stuff. The more that we pull free from that and see, oh no, it's just a reflection of an existence. It's just me creating a character to come in, so that my orb's not just going around here. My orb has given sign, but the sign comes from my code. My code is showing me something that I can work on in this reality. And so, anyways, that's how I see it. And, oh, it's my crackly bones. Then, but see, I swear to God, sometimes it just seems like there's just so many things. There's just so much. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to learn. There's so much to figure out. But, you know, it all starts with learning how to love yourself. Can't go wrong. Learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody, and learn how to have the day you want to have. That's where you start, and that's where it all leads. So, and I will talk about it tomorrow. We'll see what happens today. Keep your fingers crossed. We're getting closer and closer to August, so bring on the money. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.